Welcome into Rogue Football. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here today. Right now, we are getting into our Atlanta Falcons 7-round 2024 mock draft. Raheem Morris is back in town as the head coach. Well-deserved, past due head coaching promotion for Raheem Morris, right? Jimmy Lake at defensive coordinator, Zach Robinson at offensive coordinator, both coming over with him from the Rams. Two very smart, articulate guys that I believe can teach and scheme it up at a high level. I think that those were two very good hires for the Atlanta Falcons, as was Raheem Morris. I remember watching Zach Robinson back at OK State. Kind of makes you feel a little bit old there, but you have $37.5 million in cap space, a good offensive line, a good interior defensive line, lots of skill position talent, talented secondary, good linebackers. You just re-signed Nate Landman, of course. What do you need? You need the quarterback. The quarterback experiment over the last couple years has not really worked for the Atlanta Falcons. Decided to move on from Arthur Smith, obviously. There's a lot of smoke around it being Kirk Cousins, right? My guess is if it is Kirk Cousins, 3 years, around $120 million-ish total, I don't think it's a bad move for the Falcons, and I think it's going to be what ends up happening. I'm expecting Kirk Cousins to move on from Minnesota, go down to Atlanta, and become the franchise quarterback there that they've been searching for. Is he the quarterback that will put you over the top? With the current group of skill players, their lines of scrimmage, back end on defense, and some cap space and this draft, maybe. I really do believe that it is possible that Kirk Cousins could help Atlanta certainly win their division, make the playoffs, and push for an NFC title and then see what happens. Let the chips fall where they may. I think you need some more edge rush. Need some wide receiver talent beyond Drake London. Not that they're bereft of talent. After London, they've got some dudes, right? But you could use another real big-time wide receiver talent. If I'm Atlanta, I really want to amp the offense up to 11 in 2024. That's what I want to do. Raheem Morris can flat out coach defense. Jimmy Lake as well. So I don't mind being aggressive to pursue offense here and just try to go scorched earth in 2024. Let the defense kind of come along, and they've got plenty of defensive talent. They spent a lot on that side of the ball last year. You have 7 draft picks. Let's rise up. So the first pick for the Falcons is at 8 overall, right? I say you trade up to 5 with the Los Angeles Chargers, who are very openly wanting to trade their draft pick, move down and acquire more picks to kind of rebuild what they have. They've got a lot of contracts they need to move on from. They're way over the cap. They've got a lot of holes on the roster. Trade up to 5, not to get a quarterback. You're giving up 8, a second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick to go get Rome Odunze, second wide receiver off the board. I just love the fit. You have the freakiest offense in the league now, bar none. Kirk Cousins behind a very good offensive line with a sharp young offensive coordinator. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Rome Odunze. Like, holy crap. Odunze is a do-it-all receiver. Size, speed, route running, late hands, strong hands, vertical leaping ability, contested catch ability, strength, body control. This is a game changer. This is an absolute game changer for your offense. Now there is a complete inability for defenses to contend with what you have on the offensive side of the ball. You have an offensive play caller who's going to put your playmakers in the best position to succeed, and a trigger man in Kirk Cousins who will be able to get them the ball. I think it's fantastic. Next pick isn't until 74 now that you traded that second rounder, but it's a calculated risk here to really elevate that offense to championship level, to contender level, right? But here you land edge rusher Adisa Isaac. I mentioned they need edge. Great base down skill set out of Penn State. Strength, a budding pass rush skill set. Was unblockable at times at the Senior Bowl against some really good competition. Did not blow the doors off the combine, so maybe he falls just a little bit. Maybe some other guys kind of rise up, no pun intended, above Adisa Isaac in the draft order, and you're able to land him at 74 to complement what you already have on your edge group. At 79 overall, offensive lineman Dominic Pooney, the rare offensive lineman with potential legitimate 5-position flex. Why? Eventually you're going to want to get cheaper at some offensive line spots, and right now he's the ultimate Mr. Fix-It if there's an injury on your offensive line, you can probably plug him in anywhere and feel relatively confident that he's not going to just crater your offensive line. And again, when you're building an offense that has the explosive firepower of the Atlanta Falcons right now with what we've done, you want to make sure that the offensive line is not costing you big time. And I think Dominic Pooney would go a long way towards making sure that's the case, right? At 142 overall, Renardo Green is still on the board, the cornerback out of Florida State. Why is he falling this far in mock drafts? I will never know. But you look around the web, it's consistent. Renardo Green is not coming off the board early. For me, I think he should, because he gives you someone to compete at cornerback in this corner room with AJ Terrell. I also love Clark Phillips, not the biggest guy out there, obviously a little undersized. You have some good other pieces in your cornerback room, but I just love the value here of Renardo Green. I like him for you short term to compete to start. I like you for him long term, definitely a long term starter. Physical man cover corner with very good athleticism, quickness, fluidity, and ball skills. Shut down guys like Malik Neighbors. Brian Thomas was a fantastic corner for them. I think that will translate to the NFL as a man cover corner. At 199 overall, defensive tackle Fabian Lovett, another Florida State defender. These Florida State defensive players are just so underrated. This was a championship defense, and when you go watch these guys play, they're getting the job done at all three levels of the football field. Lovett is a mammoth interior defensive lineman from Florida State. So you get him in on the interior, has extremely long arms, great length, strong against the run, won't be a three-down player just because he's not going to be able to give it to you with high energy all three downs. But he can give you some stout play up front, give you some juice too in clear pass rushing situations. If you need him to win a pass rush rep, he can do it. Will hustle all over the field, just gives you the depth behind your two big interior guys that you absolutely love in David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett, obviously. But I think Fabian Lovett gives you a better rotation there on your defensive line, and you got to rotate in today's day and age. But there you have it. Kirk Cousins and Rome Odunze, major additions to the offense. Franchise altering additions to the offense, in my opinion. You also shore up the depth of the offensive line with Dominic Pooney. I think you're now talking about a top 5 offense in the league, bar none. I mean, maybe even better than that. When you look at the skill position talent, as I mentioned, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Rome Odunze. You've got some nice ancillary pieces as well. Tyler Algier. You've got a couple other guys at the wide receiver position that can get the job done. Kirk Cousins throwing the football behind a very talented offensive line. I would be here for it. I think it would be one of the most fun off seasons you could hope for as an Atlanta Falcon fan, and it would be pushing the chips in a little bit. And I think the Falcons, it's time for them to do that. Again, do I think Kirk Cousins is a franchise elevating quarterback? Not necessarily, but do I think with the right pieces around him, with a quality offensive line and great skill position talent and a good defense, that he could win a Super Bowl? I do. It's going to be tough for anybody to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, as we saw this year and the year before, 3 out of the last 5. But I think that this team could give anybody in the NFC a run for their money. I think they're going to be well coached. Adisa Isaac and Renardo Green give that defense serious juice. Lovett gives you some depth and a rotation inside. So if you're a Falcons fan, I would love to know what you think about this one. Hit me up in the comment section below. And if you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.